All right. Welcome to this episode of the Embracing Joy podcast, where we help high achieving professionals embrace more joy in their professional and their personal lives. We have a wonderful guest with us today. We have Dr. Mary Alice Mina, and thank you for joining us, Dr. Mina.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I love this. And just talking to you brings me so much joy. So I love that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, let us tell the audience more about you because the more we get to know about you, of course, the more we'll enjoy this talk because you have such a wealth of experience and knowledge to share with the audience, especially about this topic where we're going to talk about self-love and skincare and how that can embrace more joy in your lives. So Dr.
Yeah.
Alice Mina is a Harvard-trained double board certified dermatologist. She's a dermatologic surgeon and she's a leading expert on skin health and skincare. She's the host of The Skin Real, which is a podcast for people looking for real skincare guidance by true skin experts, where she emphasizes a holistic and preventative approach to skin health and aesthetics. She has over 15 years of clinical experience, and she's an invited speaker on podcasts and national meetings. She's recognized for her artistic eye and surgical skills while helping people feel good in their skin. She is also the co-owner of Balcom and Mina Derm Surgery in Atlanta, Georgia, where she treats patients with advanced surgical and cosmetic procedures to restore and maintain healthy skin. Wow, what a bio. That's great. Yeah, so it's wonderful to have you to discuss this topic. Tell me more about, how you find joy in what you do as far as your dermatological practice. What aspect of it brings you the most joy?
Oh gosh, I love what I do. I feel really, really blessed. And my partner too. Like my husband laughs. He's like, I'm like the only one who skips into work on Monday morning, but I really love it. It does bring me such joy to take care of my patients. And I have a mix in my practice where I take care of serious things like skin cancers. I do a lot of that typically in the morning. And then I do a lot of fun stuff. I get to, I joke I'm Dr. Pimple Popper ATL because I get to remove a lot of cysts and lipomas. And then I get to help people feel good about their skin and do aesthetic procedures or help them, if they have excess skin or some excess fat and do some liposuction or upper eyelids and things like that to just help them feel their best. And I say I'm like the icing on the cake. Like they still have to do all the work inside first and then come see me and we can put those little tweaks on. And what I love about dermatology that really appealed to me, even as like a medical student, is that our skin it's visible, right? Like people don't necessarily know they have hypertension, but they know when they have acne or they have scarring or they have psoriasis and people think they're infected and don't want to touch them. Like it's so the skin conditions you have, that we treat as dermatologists are front and center and everyone in the world can see. And when you can help someone with that, it really can be life changing for them. And so I just get a lot of joy in that, getting to help remove whether it's a large skin cancer and give them like an amazing scar or help their skin look rejuvenated. It really is, it's just really fulfilling and satisfying.
That's great. So you mentioned how the skin is front and center, which we know as far as like when you first look in the mirror in the day, the skin can have a very profound impact on self-esteem and
Yeah.
self-love. Have you seen how taking care or improving your daily regimen can help improve your self-love or enjoy that you find in your day to day?
Yeah, absolutely. So you know what? It goes both ways, right? Because there are times where you look in the mirror and you don't feel joy, right? Like you look in the mirror and you're like, oh my gosh, like what's happening? Or you feel like your outside doesn't match your inside. And that's where I find a lot of people have this mismatch where actually their appearance brings them a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, a lot of insecurity. And
Mhm.
I feel like you can kind of fake that in your 20s and 30s, but once you hit your 40s, it's like stuff gets real and you can't fake it as much anymore. And things are changing. We're
Mhm.
aging and we see that. And so I find that like the opposite of sparking joy happens and people get really deflated.
Mm.
And you can kind of go one of two ways. Either you're on this like constant mission to stamp out aging and reverse the clock and do whatever it takes. Or I think the healthier approach is to sort of recognize, okay, these things are happening. What can I do to maintain my health, improve my health, and have really like vitality, right? And
Mhm. Mhm.
strength and healthy skin. And in doing that, you're always going to look better too, which is a nice perk. But I don't think I fully answered your real question, but how taking care of our skin can bring joy. Is that what your first question
Well,
was?
I love the way you answered it as well because I can see that, we see that in a lot of women, especially as you get older, that some people do just, maybe they just go procedure after procedure or become insecure about their
Yeah.
skin but we also see some people with the alternative that have a they just are more vital and they do things to maintain their health as far as drinking their water, exercising, doing skin maintenance to,
Yeah.
and not overdoing it at the same time, but having a healthy skin maintenance and skincare routine.
Yeah.
So, yeah, yeah. I mean, I see that both ways, but how would you answer the second part of the question as far as the joy aspect?
I'm sorry. Say it one more time to me. You
So
just stuck in the
so
jet.
you said so we see how it can steal the joy, right? Like the
Uh-huh.
with aging and skin changes and,
Oh, how can it bring
having
joy?
how can it also bring joy? So what would you say as far as what tips maybe that you have for someone to maintain their health and vitality so that caring for their skin also brings them joy
Yes. Yeah,
externally?
absolutely. Right. And I want someone like as a dermatologist, like I want them to look in the mirror and like love the person staring back at them. I want people to comment like, you look amazing. You look beautiful. And I think we all can agree. Like I've seen people who to me look beautiful and not, it's not necessarily like the standard like check boxes, tall, thin, but like I think I've seen some of my patients, I'm just like, wow, you are just like a beautiful, elegant woman. And it's because they have this like joy that's coming out, coming deeper. So I think that's why I love your podcast and your message is like joy from within, and that will show on your skin and on your face. And when you feel good, you're going to look good. And so it also, right, when you look good, you feel good too, right?
Mhm.
But if you feel good in your skin and you feel confident, right, like that's everything. You're going to not be afraid to try to get that promotion. You're not going to like hide in the back at a networking event. And so if I can help someone's inside match their outside and any, scarring or insecurity they have visible issue on their skin, if I can help them with that, I know I'm going to give them more confidence. And that's going to help with everything in their life too. But it sort of works both ways. Like, from, yes, there is some from the outside in, but it also has to happen from the inside out.
Yeah, I love that answer. So it it coming from the inside out, it's also how you speak to yourself when you are so critical,
Yeah.
or seeing every wrinkle and or every mark
Yeah.
of
Perfection, right?
imperfection. Yeah, seeing every mark of imperfection and beating yourself up, you're not going to feel good inside, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's acknowledging all of the imperfections are what make you. And yes, there's some things you can change, but it's not beating yourself up about the imperfections. It's treating yourself kindly about every imperfection, every mole, every discoloration. They will come, they will go, but you're going to try to treat yourself well regardless. And if it can be removed, you could see a dermatologist. You could remove it, but out of a place of love for your skin and that
Yeah.
imperfect. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Like we can do a lot of stuff, but I can almost like pinpoint the patient. And usually I don't want to treat them and I'll say no, like who I know is not going to be happy because they're beautiful, they're gorgeous, but they're focused on these flaws that really either aren't there or are not to the magnitude that they in their heads believe it to be. And
Mhm.
I know that nothing's going to make them happy that I can do. And really, they're so fixated on that. And so that's where it can get harmful with skincare and dermatology, this sort of like over fixation on that. So, I mean, my message is for people like just love the skin you're in, like
Mhm.
make the most of it, focus on prevention, focus on maintenance and in vitality and strength. And all that other stuff will either you don't worry about it or stress about it, or if something really does bother you, then we can work on fixing it.
Yeah, I really like that. And I don't know if a lot of dermatologists will say the same message as you. I haven't heard it in the public or as widely recommended. I think it's revolutionary because it's so important that people are not coming to you as a place of fear or wanting to correct everything, but out of that, they care for themselves and they, of course, are taking care of themselves and doing maintenance or and
Yeah.
if need to. Yeah,
Well, I'll
that's
tell
great.
you, like, it's much easier to say, "Hey, buy this cream. It'll solve all your problems. It'll fix everything." But it's just that's yes, there are some important ingredients and stuff you can use, but it's not the full picture, right? There's more to it.
Right. Yeah. So this was a great conversation. I have a couple of wrap-up questions for you, Dr. Mina. So, who is a model of joy for you in your life? It could be someone fictional, or it could be someone that you know personally, whoever that may be.
Gosh, so
Mhm.
I'll say like true joy is you see it in children, right? And
Mhm.
it makes me a little bit sad as my kids are now tweens. I'm starting to see some of that just like pure joy start to, they're becoming bigger and growing up
Mhm.
and they're kind of losing that, which makes me sad because right, like pure joy are children, right? Like kids and the excitement they have for something that seems so just simple and to us just basic or day in and day out. We don't even recognize it, right? But when you have kids and you see the joy that little things bring to them, like, oh my gosh, mom, the that look at that pretty flower. And you're like, oh yeah, wow. Like I just love that about kids, like just that innocence and they find joy in so much. And it is sad. It seems like we stamp that out of them as they get older and just life becomes hard and challenges and everything. So I wish we could like pocket that joy of
Yeah.
children and I could like pour it in my coffee every morning and drink it up. But yeah, to me, that's pure, like pure joy in
Mhm.
children and how they just really relish life and the excitement they have over stuff. It's really beautiful.
I agree. So, if you were baking a cake of joy, Dr. Mina, what would be your top three ingredients and why?
Oh gosh. Okay. Cake of joy. This sounds
Mhm.
delish. I think number one is love. We have to have love in this cake of joy. That's got to be there.
Mhm.
And I love to laugh. Sometimes it's a coping mechanism, but I just truly enjoy laughter and that I would have to have laughter in my cake of joy. And then also gratitude, right? This is something like I need to work on and trying to instill also in my kids is to be thankful for what I have instead of always thinking about what I want, what I need, what I don't have. It's just being thankful for so much that I already have and that I've received. And so I think just including that in your cake of joy is super important to be thankful for what you have.
Awesome. I love those ingredients. That cake sounds delicious. So, where is the best place for our audience to learn more about you, Dr. Mina? How can they
Yeah.
learn about you, get in touch with you?
Yeah, but this was a lot of fun. So thank you for having me on. You really have such a sense of joy, and I love this message you're putting out there. So keep doing the amazing work you're doing. And if people want to learn more about their skin health and aging and all that good stuff, you can check out my podcast, The Skin Real, REAL. And if you're wondering, like, I don't even know where to begin with what I need for my skin, what I don't, because it's so overwhelming, you can check out, I have a free PDF you can get at theskinreal.com/habits, where I kind of break down your skincare needs and goals and how those should really make up the habits that you do day in and day out. And my social media handle is at Dr. Mina Skin. And if you're in the Atlanta area, be sure to check me out at my practice, Bachman Mina Derm Surgery.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Mina. You were a pleasure to have on this podcast episode, and you shared such wonderful insights about skincare and self love, as well as the aging process with our skin. So, Dr.
Oh,
Mina, this has been great. Please like and share this podcast, everyone, all of the listeners today. Or if you find anyone that could benefit from learning more about embracing joy in their skincare routine and their self love. Take
yes.
care. Okay.
Bye.